Today's the day. I've been threatening you for 2 weeks now that I'm going to weld this aluminum piece back together. And today, the day I get to actually try and do it. Well, I only have the weekend to work on this bus, and the last couple of Saturdays we've been busy doing other things. But today, it's raining outside. It's actually miserable outside. So I'm inside, and I'm going to try and weld this with the aluminum welder. I got to beat out some of the dents first, knock down some of these high ridges from years of screws being drilled into it. And then I'm going to cut this piece here off, make a new bottom with some aluminum. I have my favorite tool. There's my plasma cutter. And over here, I have my aluminum welder. That's kind of cool. I haven't used it much. I'm not very good with it for now. Like everything I keep telling you, practice. Don't give up. Don't get discouraged. Not everyone can do this right out of the gate. It takes practice. It does. Don't get discouraged. Keep trying, and you'll do fine. So I'm going to put this on time lapse. You'll see me beat this up. You'll see me trying. I'm going to try and cut it, just weld some of the holes first. Just start off small, and then as I get more confident, I'll cut a patch for this. I'll cut a patch for this, and by the end of this session, I should feel confident enough to weld on the door. The door that has a nice GM plaque. It has 6 small holes in it from someone drilling stuff into it. I'm going to try and weld those up without warping the crap out of the panel. All right, so there we go. Okay, I did 2 holes. One hole was kind of small and puny and filled up really easy. The other hole was kind of big. I'm on the fence whether I should cut a little piece of a backing piece and weld that up. But here, I'll drill a couple small ones for you so you can see what I'm doing. I'm tilting the gun, and I'm welding the side of the hole to build up the aluminum and let the molten aluminum kind of cover it right over. The first 2 came out pretty good. This one here's a bit of a blob. It happens. I just gotta practice a little more. Let's try this one. Uh-oh, what happened? Something happened. Something bad happened here. What do we got here? Ah, there she goes. Now, they say once you stop the arc, you have to clean the surface again. You can see it's all this black stuff. The aluminum don't stick too well to that. So I'm just going to try and blast this one and see what happens. This has all been sandblasted, so it's nice and clean. So we'll try and do this one all in one shot, see how it works. Well, that's not bad. Check it out. That's pretty good. Let me try another one. Well, that one made kind of a blob, and I had to kind of back off a little bit. I'll try these next 2. I'll try this one. I don't want this to get too hot. Well, it's pretty hot too. I'll try this guy. I had a lot of melt through on that one, so that was not too good. Kind of failed on that one. I think there's still a hole in there in the middle. Yeah, that's better. All right, so clearly I need some more practice, but what better to practice on? just like with steel, aluminum, when you weld it, okay, well, I'm not as good as I like to be with aluminum. I'm practicing. I'm getting better. This is what we ended up with. All the holes are done. I achieved our mission. All the patches are done. All the holes are filled. I can now do some auto body filler on this. I'm going to take it back to the dash, check it out, make sure it still fits nice, and then start doing some body filler on this. Maybe I'll get this part in prime tonight. Your pro tip for today is don't be afraid to grind down some of those blobby welds. It's best not to get them. Okay? That's the best thing to do, is practice your welding so you don't get them. But if you do, it's okay to take the top heads off, okay, the top of them. The weld itself is what melts the metals together. See, you see the burn mark on the inside of this one. It's you can see I've got good penetration on this one. Same thing on along the bottom here. This is like almost too much. It actually started melting through. But you see the burn mark. It's a little distorted. You can feel the weld on the back side. So I actually achieved my mission of welding and melting it all together. Okay, if I can use that word right. Now I'm sure there's a lot of you watching that are experts at welding aluminum. Congratulations, good for you. I am still learning, even at my age of 60. I'm still learning. I'm still practicing. I still enjoy it. It's fun. I like working with metal. So I'm gonna go test fit this, put it back on our dash, and start doing some body work. When they talk about Bondo, okay, I'm going Bondo. Bondo is actually a brand. It's an older brand. It's one of the oldest auto body fillers out there. They were like the originators. In the olden days, they actually used lead. They started with lead first, which is a very long process. They had to put some kind of acid on where the dent was after they beat out the dent or pulled it, dented, beat it out. They would put some kind of acid on there, and then they would take a torch and a bar of lead, and they would melt the lead onto the panel, let it dry, and they would file it off with a metal file that's similar to the auto body filler files, but it was made out of metal, and it actually grabbed and ripped, almost like a rasp. It's a lost art. I have no idea how to do it. I came into this in the, I don't know, late 70s, early 80s, and we had auto filler. So I'm going to show you, again, what to do, how to do it, the way I do it at least, okay? Hopefully you'll get some hints or tricks. All right, so I'll be right back. A couple little low spots here. You see where the sander didn't hit anything? Those are low spots. I got some weird spots here where the screws were. I took the screws out. I'm going to put a coat there, and I'll sand it. I got some out of the can, put it on a piece of cardboard. You're not supposed to use cardboard. You're supposed to use a piece of glass or something that's not absorbent. But it's not on the cardboard very long. I get it in, I mix it, I put it off. So it's really not that big a deal. You estimate that about 5 or 6 golf balls, and they want 1 inch of this ribbon for every golf ball size. Okay, that's the rule of thumb. So it's about that much. I might be a little on the heavy side, but it is winter. So the more of the stuff you put on, the faster it dries. Sometimes it could be a good thing. In the middle of summer, it's not a good thing. Okay, you can imagine. It will harden up before you even got a chance to put it on. When you mix this stuff, you don't want to whip it up like a big cake. You actually want to press it back into itself and push all the air bubbles out. Air bubbles are your enemy right now, okay? They just make a big mess. They make what's called pinholes. It's like an air bubble in the filler, and then when you start sanding it, the top half of that air hole gets exposed and makes a little, what they call a pinhole, okay? And sometimes you got to chase those things around, and it's a real pain in the neck. You see I'm picking it up, I'm pushing it right down, and I'm pressing it down into my mixing board. Take a little bit, whatever you can handle, okay? And you fill it in the low spots. First thing I want to do is put some in here, and then we'll press it in. You almost see me taking it right back off, but I'm actually pressing it into the low spots, getting rid of any kind of air bubbles. Now take a little bit more. Now I know it's low, So actually fill it up a little bit so you can sand it off, but don't go nuts, just enough. I have, these things here. I did all my work around the screws, but now it's time to take the screws out and fix where I missed. Y'all mean? My grandmother used to say that all the time. Y'all mean? She's from Missouri. I don't know, I just picked it up from her. It keeps me remembering her. She was a really neat lady. She was actually one of the original Rosie the Riveter kind of girls during World War II. She actually worked in one of those factories that made airplanes. Okay, so this is dried. It's been about 10 minutes. It doesn't take that long. About 10 minutes. Now, here's my next, here's another pro tip for you. If you have use of a machine, go ahead and use it. Trust me, it speeds things up real fast. If you don't have a machine, if that's okay, you can do it by hand. Most beginners here I have do it by hand, so you just kind of know how you're doing it. But you know, if you have use of a machine, you can quickly, very fast, break this stuff down real quick, get fairly straight, and you finish it off by hand. You know, that way it's quicker, a little faster, a little easier on your body. Another pro tip, try to make sure you paint your sandpaper sharp. No one likes sanding with dull sandpaper. It doesn't work very well. Alright, so let me sand these up for you. Let me show you what I'm watching. We'll keep this flat. If you have a machine or you just got a machine, practice with it. Okay, you can manipulate it so where it works best in your favor. But for 99% of the time, keep it flat. Okay, flat is your friend. Because you're trying to make everything flat. Y'all mean? Okay. So, here is the end result of today's work. I got the etching primer on this. If you don't remember what etching primer is, an acid-based anti-corrosion type primer. It's what we use to put first down on bare metal and bodywork, and then I put regular primer on top. But two things, I want to do a little more work, but I didn't want to leave it in bare metal until I get back to it. So just put some etching primer on it. All we do is scuff up a little bit, and I can put regular primer on it. Scuff up a little bit, and I actually put a little spot putty on it. I will explain what spot putty is in the next video. But there we go. This is all set. I don't know if you ever saw these, the end result of these vents I made. You saw the panel that had the two factory holes. And now these will open to allow heat to come out. You can turn it this way to aim up at the door, or you can aim down at Jonathan's feet or whoever's in that first seat. This is this. And then this panel here, I have one screw here. Now one screw here, and this whole thing can still come right off, so we can service the AC unit and heat unit that goes behind this grate. Okay, I'm going to continue on this body work. Try and make a dash out of this thing. We're going to try and test fit it this weekend. And if it test fits, it looks good, I might even try and paint this thing. Remember in one of those pro tips I told you that you should start sanding just a little bit early so you can, you're not trying to sand a rock, you know what I mean? Touch it while it's a little soft and run across. Okay, well, I have a big area here, and I'm starting a little early, like I said. But all of a sudden your sandpaper gets clogged, right? Well, here's my pro tip for today. Let's take a wire brush, unclog it, and keep going. Now, since I started early, I'm just trying to get some of this stuff off, I use a cheese grater file to start it. It takes off a lot of material very quickly. But then you got areas in here where it just doesn't quite fit, especially when I have, you know, the vents in the way. Everything's a little sharp. But this, you know, this is a great tool to get stuff off very quickly. But sometimes I can't get in there, so I'm using 36 grit. I'm going to unclog it. Okay, there you go. And I'm going to turn the block sideways and get right in here. Someone asked, and you can ask, you know, just you type in a question or you can private message Jonathan or Kate. This isn't a secret, it's just body work. When do you know when to stop sanding? And it's a good question because, you know, you're sanding away, all of a sudden next thing you know, you sand it all off and now it's a dent again. If you can see, I was sanding, where's my block? There's a block. I'm sanding along, right? And I'm starting to hit metal here. I'm hitting the top of this guy. I'm hitting here. And you see the sharp, you know, brightness of the metal. Yet I still have a low spot here. You see where the block didn't hit it. Because like I said, you got a nice flat block and you're holding it flat, it's going to get earning flat. It's taking it off as a unit. Also, I think in another video I said, don't stay in one area too long. You got just treat the area as a whole unit. You'll see areas like this. There's metal showing here, and I got some metal starting to show through here. You can see it. Yet this wasn't touched, and this wasn't touched. Well, those are low spots. This area here, you see it. I skimmed right over it. I'm not touching it. Those are all low spots. You can fill them up. You fill them up with a second coat, and you do maybe a third coat. How many coats you need to fill these up, and then you take your block and you sand across and get it flat. So it's all filled. I got a couple spots here. I got a low spot here in this edge here I got to do. And then of course I got something on the other side. But okay. Same rules apply than when you're putting on their first coat, second coat, third coat, however coats you, how many you need. Put it on and press it right into all the deep scratches. Okay? You don't want to just lay it on, just stick it there without pressing it in, because you want to get rid of, see right here, those are little bubble looking things. Those will turn into pinholes on you. You want to press those out and then put a coat on the fill. You know what I mean? Okay, same thing here. Fill in that low spot, press it in, and then go ahead and fill. There you go. You gotta be a little smoother than that, though. For some reason, the spreader don't seem to want to get around the corner here. Sorry about the foam blowing up. It's actually the date today is St. Patrick's Day, and I went down to my friends list and I sent them all a St. Patrick's Day message. Of course, I'm Asian, so it's not a holiday for me. It is, but it isn't. I think I'm a little bit Irish on my dad's side. I asked Jonathan to take a break from what he was doing to come help me with this panel. And what we did is we put those riv, he calls them riv nuts. I call them nut certs. What they are, they're a barrel, a threaded barrel type rivet, for lack of a better word. You go into a hole, he takes a special tool, and he crushes the back of it so it goes into the hole and stays. And then we can put these screws in. And I asked him to do that because I had to finalize these gaps to make sure this panel fits with a uniform gap. And when we finally get this thing on, you'll see that we are off a little bit. I got to take some filler out of here, and I have to raise this line so that matches this line. If you guys can see that. So that's what I'm going to do now. Take this back off, prep this, the rest of this panel. Once I adjust these lines, unless something bad happens, I'm ready to prime this thing. after much ado, I am ready to paint. I'm going to tack rag this. I got a little sticky cloth. I got a tack rag. It's taking off any last little minute pieces of dust, anything that might be funny. I already blew it off. I washed it down with a wax and grease remover. But you saw that on another video, I'm sure. The one where I'm painting the bus, the white on top, the same thing. And then everything else, just like everything else, I'm going to do the sealer, the paint, and the clear coat. Alright, so there it is. My pro tip for tonight is after you're done with all the sanding and all the final sanding, is run your hand over it. Just run your hand over it. Feel it. Close your eyes if you have to. Run your hand over it, keep your hand flat, and all of a sudden, if you feel something funny, fix it now. Alright? So, wish me luck. There she be. It's all painted. It's a little different red than the outside of the bus, but it's we're going for something a little more dazzling for the inside. So, I'll just move the camera slowly and just kind of get an idea.